So, I just wanted to hop on here and do a quick video about how serendipitous my trip to France has been so far. It's been about 3 months since I've arrived, and you'll have to excuse my voice. I have a little bit of allergy thing that's been taking over my weekend, but hopefully it's near the end. So bear with me. But I wanted to just go over like a few very important and serendipitous things that have happened to me since I've been in France. Um, I might have touched on some of these points before, but I was just like taking a walk and like thinking about all the things that had to be in line for me to have a successful trip here thus far, which I have. Um, One of those things is I was in Paris and I left and I wanted to get to close to Geneva. I knew that I had to stay in France. I can go to Geneva, but I wanted to live in France um, to honor my visa. I can live in Geneva for 90 days max, but I have to spend most of my time in France. So I was looking for a place close to Geneva, and I got on a train, and I ended up in um, a place called Grand Epinay, which was very close to Annecy, France, where I am now. Um, and in Grand Epinay, I met a friend at a Chinese buffet. I was walking, I didn't know where to eat, I just knew I was hungry. And I was like, okay, I'll go to this Chinese buffet. You can't go wrong with Chinese. And then the owner of the Chinese buffet came over to me and was like, hey, um, meet my friend. He's single. He wasn't single, but he introduced him as single at the time. He's like, he's single, he's here, you know, maybe he needs a friend, he seems lonely, something like that. And like, uh, my friend, who is now my friend, was like, oh, okay, well, give me your number, I'll call you. And he called me that night. And then he's like, oh, well, I know you said that you wanted to learn French, so I'm taking French classes at the local community center, and I can bring you, and you can sign up if you want to. It's free for refugees, but I think as an American, you'll have to pay. So I was like, okay, great. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to learn French. So I went the next day and I signed up. Um, And then they were like, okay, well, do you want to be in this class or do you want to be in the next level up? It's really up to you. You can like stay in this class for a little while um, and then switch to the other level if you like, whatever you feel comfortable with. And for whatever reason, I was like, I want to go to the other class. I want to go to the higher level. And little did I know that that teacher was going to be the person that I rent my apartment from. Um, my teacher, his name is Patrick. Um, I was in the class for about, I guess, a month or so, and I was like expressing to anyone if they knew of an apartment that I could rent, let me know. And the teacher was like, well, I might have something for you. And then he invited me to meet his family, and then um, they said that I could rent their apartment that they have, but there's a current student living in the apartment and renting. The apartment would be available in June, which was at that time a month away. So he invited me to live with his family for the month in their downstairs bedroom, and there was a bathroom there too on the lower level. So it was like perfect for 30 days. And like everything just worked out without me taking that class, without me just getting on the train from Paris, with without those things lining up. I don't know what I would have done because I lived in a hotel for like 2 months. And as an American, I've said this before, on a long stay visa, you can't rent an apartment and you can't work. And you can't rent an apartment without working. So those are just some of the things that had to line up that I know. I just want to like inspire people. I mean, some people might say, well, why didn't you research all that before? And honestly, I researched as much as I could before, and I never thought that if you had the resources to rent for the year that they would deny you an apartment. It's just like, how will you know that there's no, I don't know, shoelaces? So you can't tie your shoes, that you have to bring your own shoelaces. Like, you don't know some stuff until you get there. And that was a big one. But I just want to tell everyone that you have to go in faith sometimes. Even if it sounds scary, it's important that you do the most you can, and then the rest you have to give over to God. You have to give over to your faith. And that's what I did. Not everything's perfect, but everything worked out perfectly. So I hope that you will listen to that message the next time you have something that you're contemplating and that you're scared to do. Go in faith.